This sniper is named Leng Feng. At this moment, he is already locked onto the target. The enemy is a transnational drug trafficking cartel. Operation begins with a command from the leader. The soldiers silently start infiltrating. After Leng Feng sees his teammates in position, he precisely kills the sentry with one shot. Teammates silently catch the body. They make no sound. They also drop from the sky to break the enemy's neck. Using superb infiltration skills, the soldiers eliminate all the sentries, quietly surround the drug manufacturing room, then they launch a frontal assault. The sudden attack leaves the drug traffickers powerless. But one man hides in the corner and activates a detonator. In an instant, flames shoot into the sky. The soldiers suffer heavy losses. He takes the opportunity to escape to the warehouse and hijack a hostage. During negotiations with the police, he even wounds a soldier. At this moment, Leng Feng looks at his injured comrade. He knows there is little time left, or he will die from blood loss. However, to his despair, the entire warehouse has been reinforced. The walls are made of reinforced concrete. Their weapons cannot penetrate this time. And the sniper rifle Leng Feng carries cannot shoot through the walls either. But he suddenly shifts his sniping point. He takes deep breaths to adjust his state, then fires a shot. The leader asks who fired the shot, but Leng Feng takes off his headset. He actually disobeys the leader's orders and fires again at the wall. Since one shot can't penetrate, he fires multiple shots as long as all bullets hit the same spot. Even the thickest wall can be broken through. And this difficult operation, Leng Feng learned during his training with new recruits. His eyes are full of confidence, then he pulls the trigger. Although Leng Feng successfully kills the drug traffickers, he disobeys the leader's orders and faces an investigation by the organization. Faced with Sergeant Hayes' interrogation, he admits he was wrong this time, but next time, he dares again. This rebellious look catches Leng Xiaoyun's attention. Confident Leng Feng doesn't know a bigger crisis is about to unfold. The bald drug dealer he killed has a brother. This person is the Southeast Asia's biggest drug lord, Deng. Even if he is caught by the police, he remains calm and smokes a cigar. He also has a team of elite mercenaries. Foreign police are no match for them. And Deng is a ruthless man. He even wildly fires with a Gatling gun. But even such a big drug lord dares not run to China to cause trouble. So when he learns his brother is causing trouble in China, Deng tries to persuade him to come back via video. Deng personally witnesses his brother's brutal death. He swears revenge. He will not rest until he takes revenge. So he spends a lot of money to hire the world's top mercenary, Old Cat. His goal is to kill Leng Feng. Old Cat looks down on Chinese soldiers. He believes this mission will be especially easy. But Deng warns him to stay alert. Leng Feng successfully piqued Leng Xiaoyun's interest. She decided to transfer him to the Wolf-Tooth Squadron. So Leng Feng was transported by helicopter, and he casually performed a stunt in midair. Excited, he didn't realize that the war wolf was already preparing to strike hard. Just as Leng Feng arrived at the base, the tank company came crashing down like a tidal wave. But he knew this was a test of bravery, so he stood his ground without retreating a step, even kissing the barrel of a cannon intimately. His brave performance shocked everyone, but Leng Feng thought it was all childish. When he was a new recruit, he had already played with tanks himself. The entire War Wolf team couldn't handle a rookie, which made squad leader Xiao feel embarrassed, so he personally stepped in, deliberately insulting Leng Feng as if he were nothing. However, Leng Feng was no pushover. If he found himself surrounded by enemies on War Wolf's turf, it would mean that the most elite War Wolf soldiers in a military district were just decorative pillows that looked good but were useless. Of course, there was also another possibility, that squad leader Xiao had led everyone in rebellion. Leng Feng's arrogant words actually earned Captain Yu Fei's admiration. He told squad leader Xiao to go handle other matters, and he prepared to personally discipline this troublemaker. Captain Yu handed Leng Feng the War Wolf armband and expressed his welcome to him, also telling him that the timing was perfect, as the military district was about to hold a major exercise, so Leng Feng should perform well and bring glory to War Wolf. Because the exercise area was on the border, everyone set out by helicopter. At this moment, Leng Feng raised a long-standing question. Why was the ace unit of the military district led by a woman named Leng Xiaoyun? The soldiers all dared not speak. Leng Feng covered his ears, stung by the pain, and then he realized that Leng Xiaoyun was also in the team's communication system. No wonder these bastards didn't dare speak earlier. They quickly reached the combat zone and began parachuting operations. However, the enemy discovered War Wolf's trail and knew they were here for a decapitation strike, so he moved the command post onto a vehicle and ran around, leaving a fake camp as bait. Sure enough, squad leader Xiao was fooled, leading his team straight into the trap. Fortunately, Leng Feng and two others were on alert at the perimeter, so they avoided total annihilation. Just as the three were planning to retreat, Leng Feng spotted enemy drones and signaled his teammates to follow him. The three chased relentlessly, finally finding the real command post. Leng Feng then moved to a high point to observe the enemy situation, and under his command, his teammates took out the guards, placing bombs under the vehicles. Suddenly, a burst of fireworks erupted, more lively than New Year celebrations. The enemy was thrown into chaos, and the commanding officers took the opportunity to retreat. But Leng Feng had been waiting for this moment. Commander Shi was furious, but still followed the exercise rules. However, Chief of Staff acted unethically, sending all troops to hunt down Leng Feng. But night was the domain of special forces, and Leng Feng and his team had long since disappeared without a trace. In this one battle, the strength of Leng Feng completely conquered his teammates. Yu even started chatting casually with him and showed off adorable photos of his daughter, planning to spend quality time with her after retirement. But this very statement caused Yu Dui's death. This Chinese soldier was seriously injured, but the enemy sniper deliberately spared his life, specifically shooting and killing his comrades who came to rescue him. The captain knew this was a tactic of encirclement and reinforcement, so he drew his pistol, ready to end his own life. But the enemy broke the captain's arm. This scene shocked everyone. Listening to the captain's painful screams, a soldier couldn't help but step forward to rescue him, but was killed by the enemy. The captain watched his comrades die because of him, feeling immensely guilty. Commander Leng Xiaoyun was even more tearful. Then the captain took off his helmet and made a final plea to his comrades. Leng Feng couldn't bear to see the captain suffer, so he aimed his gun at him and also showed a look of relief. But in the next second, Leng Feng wildly opened fire on the big tree beside him. The teammates didn't question, but tacitly increased their firepower. At this moment, the soldiers united, focusing their attack on the roots of the tree and surprisingly managed to shoot it down. Leng Feng seized the opportunity to climb up, using the tree stump as cover, successfully rescuing the captain. And the decisive battle had just begun. The wolf warrior was conducting military exercises at the border, but was suddenly ambushed by mercenaries. Yu drew a signal flare for help, but was firmly suppressed by Old Cat. Seeing this, Leng Feng wanted to rush in to rescue, but nearly got killed by the enemy. Old Cat even drew his gun to shoot. In the critical moment, Leng Feng used his backpack as bait, successfully attracting the enemy's attention, and then launched an attack from above. Although Leng Feng successfully suppressed Old Cat and was about to eliminate the enemy, the opponent drew his gun and shot. Fortunately, Leng Feng dodged in time. Old Cat wanted to continue the pursuit, but realized the Chinese troops had already arrived and could only leave reluctantly. When reinforcements arrived, they found Yu had already sacrificed, and Leng Feng was devastated. He looked at the adorable face of Yu daughter, and the anger in his heart reignited fiercely. After Yu closed his eyes, his body was sent back as a martyr. Fuming, Leng Feng's veins bulged, and he swore to kill Old Cat in revenge. At this moment, the mercenaries were fleeing, cheering for killing the Chinese soldiers and managing to escape unscathed, but with no self-awareness at all. If the bullets in the wolf warrior were real, they would have been dead long ago. And the armed helicopter quickly caught up, firing furious ammunition at the mercenaries, blowing their vehicles into the sky. But Old Cat and his men escaped into the primitive forest, mocking Chinese soldiers as Boy Scouts. After learning the situation, the commander ordered the troops into full combat mode, appointing Leng Xiaoyun as the combat commander and quickly identifying the mercenaries' identities. This veteran, after retiring, became a mercenary. Currently the highest valued in the world, has never failed in executing missions. The commander doesn't care how formidable the Old Cat is, as long as he dares to invade China, he must pay with his life. The teacher issues a death order to the soldiers, giving them only 2 hours to hunt down the Old Cat. So everyone switches to live ammunition and arms themselves. Just now, Cold Peak, in order to eliminate the enemy sniper, actually took off all his gear, not even wearing a bulletproof vest. The commander was stunned to see this. After receiving the command from the commander, Cold Peak moved like lightning, taking advantage of the 2.5 seconds the enemy was reloading to dangerously dodge the bullets. This was a race against death. Seeing Cold Peak unharmed, the commander couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Then he suddenly leapt out from the ground, again dodging the enemy's bullets, and showed a friendly international gesture. Next, with a flying tackle, dodging bullets, completely disappearing into the bushes. Cold Peak looked at the enemy right in front of him, his eyes turning murderous, then suddenly charged out and reloaded his gun with his heel, swiftly killing the enemy sniper. But he was shot. Someone had ambushed him. Fortunately, he rolled on the ground, avoiding a disaster. When the Old Cat saw the Chinese soldiers chasing him, he had to give up on hunting Cold Peak. At this moment, the command center also uncovered the enemy's conspiracy. Drug Lord Minden paid a hefty price to hire the Old Cat, not only to avenge his brother by killing Cold Peak, but also to cause chaos at the border, thereby attracting the army's attention. Meanwhile, Minden seized the opportunity to obtain a secret genetically engineered weapon used to create a disease spreading worldwide, destroying human immunity through pneumonia. Thus, the commander ordered the pursuit of the Old Cat to find out Minden's whereabouts. But the Old Cat, cunning and treacherous, laid landmines, and the soldiers unfortunately stepped into the trap. Seeing this, Cold Peak had no choice but to pursue alone, shooting to blow up the hidden landmines. Seeing the Old Cat running farther and farther away, Cold Peak desperately charged into the minefield. Fortunately, he was agile, maneuvered skillfully, perfectly avoided the explosions, but still accidentally stepped on a landmine. This was a Type 82 anti-infantry mine. Filled with hundreds of steel balls, manual demoning had a very low success rate. At this moment, Leng Xiaoyun was extremely nervous, but couldn't help at all. Cold Peak knew that demoning would take a lot of time, so he decided to take a gamble, digging a deep hole around the mine, aiming to block the explosion with dirt. Cold Peak desperately took deep breaths, adjusting his body to the best state. Hearing Leng Xiaoyun's anxious calls, he painfully opened his eyes. Everyone in the command center cheered. Cold Peak, having saved his life, decided to speak his mind. He asked Leng Xiaoyun if she had a boyfriend. The command center fell silent, and Leng Xiaoyun couldn't believe her ears. She took a long time to answer. The commander was assisting from the side. He made Leng Xiaoyun honestly answer. Leng Xiaoyun said no. Upon hearing this good news, Leng Feng suddenly came back to life at full health. He continued to chase the old cat. Finally, just as the old cat was about to escape the border, he shot him down with a single shot. But Leng Feng dared not relax his guard at all, because he only hit the bulletproof vest earlier. And the old cat indeed hid at the bottom of the hillside, taking the opportunity to ambush. Both sides exchanged fire across the hillside. Until all their bullets were spent, they switched to pistols. Leng Feng fought him life and death. He also revealed a super cool eagle claw knife. But the old cat drew a longer dagger. As the saying goes, an inch longer, stronger. Leng Feng could only temporarily avoid the sharpness and look for an opportunity to counterattack, but was kicked down by the old cat. Then he unleashed his true strength, using his superb leg technique to gain the upper hand. But after a few moves, the old cat grabbed his hands. Both sides struggled fiercely. But the old cat was stronger. He pushed the dagger into Leng Feng's body. Yet he endured the terrible pain. Leng Feng flicked the eagle claw knife skillfully, taking the opportunity to cut the old cat's arm. Then came a storm of attacks. He struck a scar on the old cat's back, followed by a fierce pounce like a hungry tiger. He tightly grabbed the old cat's leg. The old cat endured the pain and kicked Leng Feng away, then drew his knife and threw it out. He could only look up and dodge in fright, but was caught by the old cat in a close fight. The situation became perilous in an instant. Leng Feng was accidentally kicked in the head by the old cat. Feeling dizzy and disoriented, he immediately lost his combat ability. At this moment, the old cat thought he had won and began to humiliate Leng Feng fiercely. But he babbled on, and Leng Feng couldn't understand a word. He struggled to get up. So the old cat locked onto Leng Feng, intending to finish off this troublesome opponent. However, he was caught off guard by his lack of education. He didn't know the truth that villains die from talking too much. He even insulted the Chinese national flag. Leng Feng looked at the blood-like color, and a command from the commander echoed in his ears. Leng Feng exchanged his life to kill the old cat, but he was also seriously injured. He reclaimed and put on the national flag. At this moment, medics arrived just in time, rushed over to give him first aid. Leng Feng was overjoyed to see this, but in the next second, he noticed something unusual. This person had a tattoo on his hand. This aroused Leng Feng's strong suspicion. Carefully looking closer, he realized the other party's true identity was actually the hostage he had previously rescued. So Leng Feng made a quick decision, immediately killing him on the spot. But the drug lord Menden sensed something was wrong, grabbed his gun, and started firing wildly. But Leng Feng used his subordinate's body to block the bullets and bravely counterattacked with an AK. Wounded and battle-hardened, Leng Feng fought more fiercely. These thugs were no match for him at all. They could only flee in disgrace with their boss Menden. Seeing this, Leng Feng raised his gun to shoot, but found his bullets had already run out and saw a large group of enemies rushing over. He knew he absolutely could not let Menden escape. So he prepared himself for sacrifice, and surprisingly, he drew his bayonet. Leng Feng stood on the borderline, scaring over 1,000 enemy soldiers alone. Behind him was a powerful homeland. Armed helicopters quickly came to support, proving with strength that a strong nation has dignity. The reinforcements also arrived in time, rushing up the hill, together with Leng Feng forming a solid defense line. Menden's subordinates were so frightened they kept retreating. Even Menden dared not to rescue them. They turned around and fled in a panic. Menden knew he couldn't escape his fate, so he quickly lit a cigar to calm his nerves. At this moment, the commander also arrived, offering the highest respect to the hero. Finally, Leng Xiaoyun was also conquered by Leng Feng, and the two of them began a sweet life together.